Right.
Okay. Well, help me along in case I forget something. But we start with attendance, right? Okay, so Sarah Pease.
Sarah Pease here,
Steve Brown here.
Mary Lou Lawrence.
Preslow,
president.
okay. And then do we kind of?
Yeah, we
skip
skip
some.
We don't exist.
We're not there.
And the camera's working.
Cool.
They can't.
So we're just missing Alex. That's the only person we thought might be here.
Yes.
Who's not here, okay. Did everyone have a second to look at the minutes?
I did.
Okay.
They're very good.
Thank you.
I moved the minutes.
Well done.
Okay, second.
Yeah.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Fine.
We're moving along here, right?
Wow.
Staff introductions, we have Sharon here, so I think everybody knows. Do you wanna tell us what's going on in the children's room?
I did write down.
Okay.
So this is gonna be my 25th year. And
25th, wonderful.
I've been in education since 1972. And this is just a great job. It's just a great gig. We've done a lot of changes in the children's room, a lot of new things in the years that I've been here. One of the biggest changes has been audiobooks. So when I first came, it was cassettes. And then they went to CDs. And now, and then they were playaways, MP3 players. And now we have Fox Books and Wonder Books that are books with the built-in player. It's right inside the book cover. And we're also just launched iVox, which is an app where the book plays in your phone or your tablet, or you can do it on your PC. And you can move it around and get more depth and more perception, and it changes things. It's pretty exciting.
Wow, I wondered.
What's
what it
that's
was.
called again, sorry?
iVox.
iVox.
You wanna let them
Yeah.
look at it or?
I do. I'm
Is
letting
it
it
just
right now.
children's books or can it?
It's just children's books right now, and it's just
Okay.
picture books so far. But we do have chapter books in book form. But this is just a cool little app.
The kids have their own, the kids that young have phones?
They have tablets. They can do it in the library. They can do it on their parents' phone.
Oh,
Like
okay,
an
okay.
iPad.
Is there a way to help them write their own stories using that?
No. It reads to you, you can turn it down. If you're looking at the page, you can turn it and you can see more, less. This is a nonfiction book and it's kind of like Who Would Win. There's a great fight with the honey badger.
the characters
Very
move?
action driven.
Do the characters move?
It's the pages and the things on the pages. It's very interesting. And iVox is by Library Ideas, and I found out through Cohasset 143 that the CEO of Oxbox lives on Jerusalem Road.
Huh.
And
Right.
he just saw that we were promoting iVox, and that was kind of his baby, and
So did he give you some?
he reached out to Bronwyn,
Yeah.
in some little deal.
So he didn't give us free ones, but his offer is, and for every person that downloads the app or signs up to use the product, we get $1 that we can either use for that. They make the hardcover, physical books, or we can order more books for the
Every
for the app.
quarter, we can swap out our books.
Yeah,
The ones
yeah.
we like, we can.
And it's unlimited
swap out some.
downloads, yeah,
Mhm.
and there's no hold.
And you
it's
can
not
sign
like-
in with your library card.
Yeah, or you can go through our website and you don't need a library card.
Oh.
So anyone can use that and there's no hold, so everyone just can get it. It's not like, if you're on overdrive or something. we have
So it's
go
open
your
to the
friends.
world.
It's open
Yeah.
to the
And
world.
to
Yeah.
use our-
Yeah.
And how many people are using it right now? I'm sure.
We don't know yet, because we just.
We
launched it
literally
on the
just
31st.
launched it 2 weeks
the
ago,
last
maybe less than
5
that.
days,
really
right, then that be.
Right.
I was
It's
just gonna,
exciting, yeah.
yeah, I was just gonna say this, cause I work at Buttonwood and we sell these kind of things too with different names. And as a grandparent and parent, the only thing that kind of disturbs me is I always think the most important thing is having that child in your lap
Yes,
and having the physical
Yeah.
connection, and I just hope that that's. not
Yes.
a-
It is.
something
It's
that's
another
gonna go-
babysitter.
yeah,
Right.
Yeah,
yeah.
The other thing about this is, each one of the Box or Wonder audiobooks is about $60 to $65. And the pages are, it's just a regular book. They're not
I
any
saw that, yeah.
stronger or. So this is a way I can add more audio and visual books to the collection. And not have them lost or ripped the first day and have to replace them. Because that's a big chunk of my budget now because they are so popular.
They really are.
They're
Amazing.
great for kids who are not reading on grade level because they can have the same book that everybody else has. And they can listen and they can be part of the discussion. The parents can choose to have them read a couple of pages and then go on and listen more. So it has so many benefits.
Yeah, well, I did see the book that was there.
Yes.
It wasn't like Goodnight Moon, I mean.
No. This is an extreme
Yeah.
example,
Yeah.
but
Well, the other thing they were saying though is that, say you're going on a long
I
car
was just
trip,
gonna say.
you can access them, download them to your tablet. And you don't have to have Wi-Fi or service or anything, it's right there, and then your kids can sit in the back seat and they can be reading and doing that, so
Yeah.
it was kind of a nice feature about it.
Rather than giving each other noogies.
Yes, that's, I remember those days.
If only I had had those
Yeah.
back then.
So it's interesting how things are changing and
It
and
is.
trying to, serve what people are looking for.
that's one of the biggest changes.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
finding a way to shelf these books because each one of them has either a rectangle or a triangle speaker and play system right in the front cover. So it makes them very awkward. So we were able to get a big browser bin. And we're highlighting chapter books right now in easy readers, so they're on the top and the picture books are all on the bottom. So that's one of the big changes that I've seen, that I'm doing a lot of charging tablets, charging money.
Yeah.
Our Launchpad tablets are so popular, especially during ski season, but now they're very popular within the library. All of the kids are grabbing the tablets and they're all have a theme, an educational theme and a subject to them. So that's exciting also. We are getting some free programs again this year from Social Action Council, which I'm really glad that I was able to reconnect with them again. So we're getting a 6-week STEM program in September. And you probably
great.
know Big Ryan Reset, who's the storyteller. He does the national program Raising a Reader for Social Action Council. So this will be our 4th year with him. And I'm looking forward to that. We did get a grant from the Mass Cultural Council for $1,000, so that paid for May, July and August for our puppet story time.
Oh, nice.
And I will probably write another one see if we can get some money from Mama Staff. And I think the other exciting thing that we've done is the story walk. I really love doing that. I love that it goes to the pumpkin patch. I already have that book ready to go. So when I come back from vacation in September, that will be changed out and moved down to the pumpkin patch. I think that's.
I think that's so clever,
Yes.
the fact that you're looking for spaces and it doesn't become old.
Right.
Yeah.
Even though the story changes, but it's still the location
Right.
makes it fresh.
That was Megan James.
Yeah.
She
Yeah.
figured that whole thing out because it was going one place.
Mhm.
And we have so much ledge around here, we could not get the posts in,
Right.
and she came up with the brainstorm of the
she's-
Christmas
yeah.
tree stands.
Yeah.
Oh,
And they
Yeah,
were
'cause
great.
most of them in other libraries are just stationary.
Probably.
And
it's
then,
in
yeah,
that
they're just
post,
in
yeah.
the ground.
And I
where-
just-
where they have-
I love it at the pumpkin patch, I think it's a
Yeah, and
great
the common,
thing.
it's nice down at Christmas time.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And then
That's nice too.
we usually choose a kindness story for the common in the winter.
Yeah, it's really nice.
So those are the things that I really, really love. I love that I have a team. I have an assistant. Ashley and Sarah are now taking over all the social media. They're making all of the flyers and posters, and they're so much better than the ones I do. And they're making our presence known everywhere, and it's really exciting. And with Sarah, we now have somebody at the desk on Wednesdays, and I don't usually come until 4:30, so it was kind of like the Wild Wild West in there. And Sarah's there now, and as you know, she taught 1st grade, so Sarah, Allison and I all have the teaching connection, so we kind of are on the same page with a lot of things. She's lovely to work with. And she's gonna be adding a story and a craft time, a sign-up story and craft on Wednesdays. So we'll have programming every day of the week. Yes, very
That
excited.
is very
We
nice.
have a new performer, Rebecca. She's just moved here from Colorado with her family, and she's not Mama Steph and she's not Miss Bethany. But she did her homework. She introduced herself to me, which is how I have everybody. Everybody that I have that's performed for us for many, many years just came in one day and said, "What do you think?" So Rebecca does sing-along and dance party.
Did you make her do it
Very
before?
good. Hold on, we Googled her. So we saw a video. And she started, and she insisted on, her first class would be free, a demo class. I had already hired her for 5 programs, so that was very cute. In the first week she came with her husband, her 2 kids, her mother, her sister, and her sister's children, so they could help set up, and Sarah and I had it all set up already, and it was just, she's lovely, her family's lovely. So I had invited her, this winter to come see Mama Steph and Bethany, and I said, I don't want you to be Mama Steph, and I don't want you to be Bethany, I want you to be yourself. But I want you to see what our audience is like, because our audience is very young.
Mhm.
I guess my gift is early childhood, because we get tons of 0 to 4-year-olds or 3-year-olds, because most everybody else is in school. So she came to a couple of each, and she talked to Mama Steph and she talked to Bethany, and they just shared her wisdom with her. And all 3 of us, after Rebecca had left, said we all got great vibes from her and we really wanted her. And her program's fabulous. It's all original music. It's very high energy. She does picture books where she has an animal and she has a song to go with everyone, and always a refrain for the kids.
Is this with instruments or just vocals?
Tambourines, we have scarves, we have everything. So that's another reason why it's good to have a partner, because we do the handout take back, so that we're not wasting time
Right.
with that stuff and losing our audience. So those are the fun things that are happening.
She sounds wonderful.
Yeah.
I
would love to see a clip of
we are
that.
so great, we're so lucky.
Yeah.
We're kind of in a creative rich environment.
Mhm.
Because Stephanie and I say, if you retire, I have to retire. And then the other one says, well, I'm not, we're not getting younger. It's hard to believe, but we are not getting younger. And so those are the fun things.
But just think, you used to do this all by yourself.
I did it up until
And
this
you did it,
summer.
yeah.
The tent is a killer. We luckily shared a tent with Ted this year, a nice, clean, brand new tent. Our moldy, drippy tent is gone. But I always put down a 20 by 40 tarp because of the plover and the bees. I don't want anybody to have bad experience, so I always put
Mhm.
that down, and on some days, if they were going by, we just had a huge laugh, because when I was doing it by myself and I'm
Oh.
throwing weights on corners and
Yeah.
it's blowing up. Anyway, those days are over.
And well, they should be.
Yes.
Good,
Yeah.
that's great.
And we just got a new sound system, and instead of the tower, it's about this big, so I'm gonna practice with that. Everything's good. Very good.
And summer reading is over.
Oh, and we changed how we do when we have the kickoff and the wrap-up party, we do Kona Ice to start, and we do notice. We moved it out front in the cutout.
Hmm.
And it just was so much better. I wasn't, herding kids back out of the parking lot, because they used to do the 2 places there. We put the pop-up tent up that we used at the farmer's market, so the kids brought their reading logs to Sarah and Angela, and they made sure their whole names were on them, and their telephone number, because we're giving out some gift cards this year. And it just lent a lot of energy to the front of the library. It was a gorgeous day, and people kind of rolled in. It wasn't everybody at 4 o'clock. And we had people from 4 to 5, and then we wrapped it up, and it was great. And I borrowed Ted's balloon.
Oh, yeah.
Balloons, babies.
Well, it was nice because people could sit on the Adirondack chairs and
was.
linger. Before, when it was in the parking lot, you really had to
Yeah.
take your ice
And
cream and
go,
go,
yeah.
get out of the way,
Right.
and cars are coming in and,
Mhm.
you know.
And that's
it's dangerous.
another-
Yeah, so this is much better.
That's another benefit of having new blood and new people. And I said to them the last time, I said, I can't do it this way anymore. Do you think we have to go to the parking lot? And Jen said, why don't we try out front? We could do that. The window would be right here. And the chairs are situated so that they could sit in the chairs, but everybody knew not to go past the chairs. And we had the benches and people were sitting under the trees and it was just
Nice.
lovely.
It was really
Great for
nice.
PR too, if anyone driving by.
Exactly. So next year,
Well, we have a pavilion.
Yes.
I'm not giving up the tent yet.
Right.
Next year, we're going to do yard signs. Situate did a yard sign when I went by and I'm like, that is brilliant. And we're gonna do kick off summer reading and give the day with Kona Ice. And that way we can get all of the reading logs, the sign up all going, and then we'll do one to let everybody know it's time to bring them back. Because that's the hard thing.
Yeah.
And we recreated a lot yesterday. It's like, I lost it, I can't find it, and I said, I know you read every day, fill out your name and check off all of them, I see you in the library. So it was we turned some tears into very positive day.
Is the summer reading program a lot for you guys to do, or is it mostly just starting it and ending it? Is there a lot in the middle?
Well, we do a program every day, 2 programs on Tuesday.
Yeah.
So it is a lot of work and just, kind of keeping everybody in the books that they want and need and,
Okay,
yeah,
that is a lot.
It's
I
a
can
lot.
see why when
It's
it's
a lot.
over, it's like.
right.
What's the blend of caregivers versus parents?
Caregivers,
Okay.
all peers and nannies.
Wow.
You would think I would have learned Spanish or Portuguese by now, but I am not. But we have such a dedicated group of au pairs and nannies. They
Mhm.
all get along great. They all do things together. They were all at the pool today. And that's why I kind of created that L-shaped seating area in the children's room. Because at 10 o'clock, they're lined up at the door every day. They've already been on the playground for at least an hour. And now everybody's coming in to cool off and do things with the kids and then again, they're gone around 12 and then they're back at 2. Especially in the winter, because a lot of the parents are working at home, so they need a home to go to. So they have lunch, nap, back here, maybe outside for a while, but at 4 o'clock, when it starts getting dark, everybody's back, and a lot of them can't really go home till 5 o'clock, and some not until 6.
Are these all
So-
Cohasset kids?
No, our nannies are mostly older women and the au pairs are all, men.
No, the kids.
Of the kids, mostly.
Okay.
Yep. Couple families from Situate and Hingham, they like our library better.
Hmm.
We're not the shushy library.
So this is why it's difficult for my daughter, who happens to be working from home sometimes, to meet other parents, because
It's,
you go to these things and it's all
Yeah.
nannies and all
Yeah.
parents.
Yeah.
But
That's
a group that
changed
maybe
because when my kids were
table,
little, it was
right?
all parents.
My,
Yeah.
it was unusual if you worked out of the
Yeah.
home
Do they have library
back in
cards?
the day.
Yeah.
Is there any way to
Yeah.
sort of have something for the parents that might be
Oh, she's fine,
Useful.
Yeah.
but yes, just
But
enough.
that means you have to
Very
separate
hard.
parents from caregivers and
do you?
you shouldn't be separating. Yeah, that's like,
It's just very hard for
Okay.
young families right now.
Yeah.
To make a living and
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
having to spend money for a nanny or au pair. And getting the work done. So if we're providing a kind, caring environment for the nannies and the kids,
Great.
It's
I'm
wonderful.
excited, yeah. And they are all wonderful women.
Okay.
I don't have any nannies right now.
No
Couple of
nannies?
years I had some nannies and they were
Oh.
great.
Yeah.
But right now I have a couple of German women and mostly South America.
Yeah. Could be interesting at some point to have some sort of like program for them, the
Mhm.
nannies and the au pairs,
Mhm.
like a Brazilian night
It's a good
or
idea.
day or something. I don't know, make them feel like more part of the community down the road.
But then you'd have to provide nannies and au pairs for the kids. though.
Like
I
when
know, no,
they-
it could be actually something like where they bring the kids and they're like, this is our culture, like
Yeah.
this is, and you have like some Brazilian food, or you have German food, or you know, like a cultural day. Something to do, yeah. Not to give you more things, just, it's not for you, but.
I have a
it's just
team now.
bringing it
I have a
out,
team now.
bringing it
Now we
out,
need
yeah.
programming for the au pairs.
I have to say, a lot of them are very shy.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
It's interesting.
So that's my story.
Oh,
Do you have
thank
any?
Great story.
Thank you so much, Sharon.
You
Thank
did
for
such a
coming.
great job.
Yes,
Thank
thank
you.
you, appreciate you.
It's very nice. So
Thank
this
you,
is
Sharon.
Alice's son's.
Oh,
that
okay.
Apparently he wanted hidden in the library for his older sister to find. And Sarah said she never came, so we hid it for a long time and I was gonna give it back to Alice.
No, that's
I thought that
fine.
was very.
It's cute, yeah, it's really funny.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Sharon.
He's not here.
Thank
Very,
you so much.
Vermont. Just remember.
Sharon, you're the best.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank
We're
you.
so lucky.
Yeah, I am very
Yeah.
lucky, 3
Mhm.
minutes from home and very social and, yeah.
Yeah.
I get to see all my students grown up.
Yeah.
Dealing
They have
with
kids of their own.
you know, the money guy. Never had problems. Danny. That's all right. So thank you all.
All right,
Thank
thank
you.
you,
Have a good
Sharon.
night.
She's so great.
Yeah, lucky, so lucky,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
for many years.
I know.
Brooke, do you mind opening the door again? I think we're supposed to keep it open.
Open meeting.
Oh, probably. I mean, it's unlocked, but yeah, I'll keep it open. We'll keep our voices down. Okay, so, that was really great. I'm so glad that she was able to come in and share what she's working on. And then, I'll just run through, it's a little bit long. I realized today when I was, finishing it up that the report's kind of long this month. So I apologize in advance, but we've been busy and I wanted to share what's going on with everyone. We have the new printer in place. It's working really well. We're saving money. We're excited. We're getting donations,
That was
which
impressive.
is, yeah. It's surprising, but someone put a $10 bill in the other day, which I was like, there's no way they printed that much, but. I guess the biggest problem is that the old, large and unattractive, machine has not been, removed yet. I've spoken to Michelle Leary. And she said, oh, it'll be done August 1st, it'll be removed, and it's still sitting there, so, that's been a constant problem with the company. There's some parts from the other staff machine that it's been 3 years, we've been waiting for them to pick that up. I mean, moving it down to the basement isn't in the way, so. I'm hoping to get rid of that. It's unattractive and it confuses people because they think that that's the machine they're supposed to be, using, but. Other than that, we're very happy with.
I can donate a sheet that you could. put
You
on
could
the-
donate a sheet, yeah, maybe we could advertise something on it or something, but, it's moving forward and I think it's gonna save the library a lot of money, so that's exciting. We purchased water for patrons during the heat wave, and then I had an idea, it was starting to get expensive. Angela's doing a fantastic job of, shopping around for lowest prices. We have Amazon, we have Staples, we have WB Mason, all these different vendors, and everything is wildly different. Some are very cheap, some are half price from what you pay for a different vendor, so it's a fair amount of work to try to find the best prices. But I thought, maybe emergency services would pay for the water since they had talked about us being a cooling station. So I talked to Glenn and he said, yeah, sure, send me the bills and we'll pay for the water, so.
Is there any chance, I noticed that on the yacht club, they have a dispenser, so if you bring your own,
So that's
Bottle.
on my wish list.
Is that the hydration center you're talking about?
station.
Yeah.
yeah,
Especially because now, I think it's at the end of this year, we have to not have plastic water
okay.
bottles, so. I reached out to Nick from facilities, and I know he's got a lot, because he's trying to get the schools up and running, but I said, can you come? And we'll walk through the library and talk about things that we were hoping to do, and see if, what's feasible, what's practical. And we haven't been able to connect that, he was over the other day, but then he had to leave, so, I'm gonna find out what,
Mhm.
there's already a water fountain, bubbler, whatever
Yeah,
it's called now, there, and so I'm hoping that I can just get, the pipes are in place and just get something installed. Sharon also had a really, great idea about, installing a picture window on the wall to the story room, because that room isn't being used right now. And, since in my report, I'm talking about, we're gonna buy more of the literacy stations. And so she's thinking about making that room into a quiet area. And with the picture window, then she'd have a sight line and she could see, what's going on in there. So that's the kind of thing I have to talk to Nick and see, is that something that, is that a load bearing wall, or is it something that could be put in? So, I'm hoping in the next few weeks I can talk to him about some of those other ideas of things that, we can do. We do have some money this year, however, all of it is contingent on how much we have to spend on the pavilion. So it's sort of holding up. We want to get the carpet installed in the children's room, although that's hit some snags, but all these things that we want to do, we can't really do much until we know how much is gonna have to go to that, so. A little bit frustrating, but we'll get there. Next thing is the iVox, which we already talked about. It's kind of interesting that the CEO lives in town. They're going to do some promoting of it as well. And so it's hopefully, we'll get the word out and people will be interested in it. The emergency manual, finally, we finished that. I feel like they've been talking about that for a long time, but it's finally updated and
Great job, I went to it.
it's
Yeah.
pretty extensive.
Did you read the whole thing?
Well, an overview. No,
Did you, Mary Lou?
no questions on where I have to go when which and such arrives.
I knew Sarah was gonna do it. I put it up and I counted the pages and I said, oh, wait.
It's interesting because you think, oh, well, everyone should just go to an exit,
Yeah.
but there's a lot of, depending on what the emergency is, you do different things. And I had talked to the fire chief a while ago and he was like, certain emergencies, the staff should go get everyone, and other ones you just get out of the building, and then you have to decide where is everyone gonna meet, because if everyone's on different places outside the building, you could be sending a police officer into the building and they don't need to, because everyone's out, that kind of
That's
stuff.
tough if the director has a hard time making decisions.
It's a really big problem. I don't know where to go yet, but,
Where is the spot? I'm just curious.
It's all over.
well,
Like, is there one spot where people?
we,
I
picked
we decided to go
Okay.
over Wilcott,
Yeah.
just really get
Yeah.
away. There's a lot of combustible things in this building, so we probably should get as far away as possible. But then, I don't know, maybe a year ago or so, there was a gas leak outside. So that wouldn't be the thing to do. We kind of locked down in the building because, you could smell it. It was a pretty strong gas leak. So it's kind of, once you start looking into it, it seems so simple, but it's really not. It's kind of complicated. And I'm glad that we reviewed it all. We have current information. And we'll share it with the staff and hopefully we will never need to access it, but I'm glad that that's
Did you
finally.
give them a test?
We do an emergency. We could, but we don't do fire drills here. Maybe we should. I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not really sure what the rule is about that. Yeah.
I would think that would be that's like baseline.
Yeah.
That's just,
Yeah, I mean, I've been here almost 18 years. We've never had a fire.
which
drill.
doors really open, which doors don't open
Right,
easily.
right. There's some that
Are
have
there
their
some
key for-
windows
Yeah,
that we could,
there's plenty of windows that
Yeah.
don't open.
Right.
easily. Yeah, it's an old
Do
building.
they still do fire drills in schools?
Yeah.
I think
Mhm.
so.
They do.
They must,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
but, I've never had.
They do shelter in place now too.
Yeah.
Right, right,
sad.
yeah.
Cause that's the
Which
other
is
thing,
sad.
people don't always
Yeah.
respond, like they think, oh, this is not real, but it's
Mhm.
a fire drill for a reason,
Right.
because one day it might be.
You're
So
right,
even
and they're
just
always,
to get the
they're
patrons
always
out.
testing the fire alarms and nobody moves because it's
Mhm.
just gonna be a test,
Yeah.
but
Oh.
it's gonna be that time when it's a real one and well, I'll be sitting in here and it'll be a problem, so it is something we have to keep on top of. But I'll think about that, maybe we can,
I think that's a really good idea.
yeah, I hadn't really thought about that, but everyone should be thinking about where would I go? You
Mhm.
know, what's the easiest door to get out of or closest door?
And again, when it's a drill or whatever, as you said, sometimes it's get everybody out and sometimes it's just.
Yeah,
Just
you
leave.
just go, yeah,
So,
yeah.
you know,
But,
fires
and we
things,
have so
people are
many
looking
different
for-
nooks and crannies, like the periodicals room is sort of, off by itself. There's no exit from there, except for come back into this building. There's no way to get completely out, so.
This is an interesting add-on to that. My brother's been a fireman all his life, volunteer.
Yeah.
And so I was traveling with him. And every hotel we were in, he would check and see,
Mhm,
where's the exit?
mhm.
Where do I have to go? There'd be no lights, whatever.
I never think to do that, but when someone mentions that, I always think that's a great idea.
Mhm.
There's people that go into a restaurant and the first thing they're
Yeah.
looking for is how do I
Or a
get
movie
out, or
theater.
a movie theater,
Mhm.
yeah, anything
And now like a
that.
concert or something.
Yeah, I know, I've gotta get that in my head to do that, going forward, but. And then the last thing for, initiatives, the Cohasset Republicans want to purchase us a flag. I'm not sure if I talked about this before, but.
I don't think so.
Okay. I know we had talked flags before, and that's been a perennial issue where people don't like that we don't have an American flag, even though there is one at the back of the building. They like to do the Pledge of Allegiance before their meetings, and they meet in the large meeting room. And so they offered to pay for it and put a plaque in memory of Michael Ernst, which I think is really lovely. I haven't seen what it's gonna look like yet. I think it's going to be on a stand. The only issue I could think of was if Sharon has a big program in there, we might wanna put it out in the hallway because it could easily get knocked over or something like that, but seems like, they're gonna pay for it and purchase it and everything, so.
Maybe there'd be room in one of those closets in the front to store it if.
Possibly,
Yeah,
they're
yes.
kind of full of chairs, but
Yeah.
maybe we
I
can
don't know,
find
just
something,
throwing
or,
that out.
yeah, or maybe
How often are they meeting here?
Once
they
a-
meet every couple of weeks.
Whoa,
Every couple of weeks, yeah. The Democrats meet too, but I don't think they
Here?
meet as often.
Not this time. They don't have so much to
Style.
talk about.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
No, they've been, I've noticed them on the schedule more frequently, and probably because, the election year and all of that, I would think.
Yeah.
But usually at least once a month, I'd say.
I'm just
So-
curious, how much is like a good flag like that, a nice flag at the stand?
I have no idea. That's a really good
I'll just think
question.
of
I
that
have no
when we
idea.
get
So they reached out to Phil Mahoney, who's a
owl
veterans
in there.
agent for the town,
Mhm.
and asked if that would be something that could be, feasible. And then he talked to Megan, and then Megan talked to me. So I haven't spoken to anyone from the group yet. But Phil was gonna get some pricing and probably price out the plaque and what they want to say on it and all of that, so. I mean, I think it's really nice, a way to remember Michael, and then we can tell everyone we have a flag in the building, so that will solve some of our unhappy patrons, so.
Crazy idea. Is there any way we could use the flag for as a way to discuss our differences? Have people come in and say why they find the flag important, and both from a conservative and liberal perspective, now that we're going into.
Maybe something around Flag Day itself.
Yeah.
it has become something of a divisive symbol, which is unfortunate.
Yeah, that's
It shouldn't be,
exactly.
it should be something that, brings everyone together, but, yeah, maybe around that time, something about that would be good.
I don't think do kids in school still pledge allegiance to the
I
flag?
think so, yeah.
They do every
Yeah.
morning?
I'm
Okay.
sure, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so some of the programming things that we're looking forward to, there's going to be an art show, from the Situate Animal Shelter. They had a contest.
So cute.
I'm really excited about it. It's gonna be great, and they're gonna, I guess they've taken pictures of the art, and so everything is at a fairly smallish size, and they're gonna put them all up, where the plants, where the books in bloom were, so they'll be, you'll see them as you come in. And I just think that's gonna be really fun. And then, Sharon talked all about the, summer reading. It's been great outside. There's not so great when we had the really hot days, and then the air conditioning broke in the west wing. They think maybe lightning strike,
Wow.
so it didn't damage the panel, so it was really, really hot in there for about 10 days or so. So that kind of challenged us with our programming for the kids, but we persevered. Then the other thing I've mentioned is Faisal, who is our teen tech student who comes on Saturdays. And I got this just the nicest message from a woman who he had helped. And she's from Situate, and she just said, "Oh, you have to keep him. He's wonderful. He didn't make me feel embarrassed. He went above and beyond. He did some research for me about things I had trouble with. Yeah, he was really wonderful." So I sent him an email and I said, we really appreciate what you're doing, because he's really just doing it for community service hours. He's not on staff or anything like
What
that.
grade
So
is he in?
I think he's a junior. He's in high school. I
From
think he's a
Cohasset?
junior
Or-
from Cohasset. Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah,
You know him?
yeah,
I know of them, of their family.
yeah,
So,
yeah. So it's been
That's
really
nice.
great because we're really short-staffed on Saturdays. We only have 3 people working. And so if someone comes in and they have, a complicated issue, it just makes it really challenging to, sometimes we only have 2 people if someone's taking the day off. So it's really hard to help a person, and that some days is the only day people can come in for help. So having him there has been really, really, really great, and we appreciate him, so.
Are you looking for more like teen tech?
We had someone else reach out to Jen, and I don't know what happened with that, because I said, because Faisal does it every other Saturday, so it's like, well, if someone wants to, fill in those other days, I don't see the downside to it. I think it'd be great, people would know that on Saturdays, there's always someone that can help them, but I don't know what happened with this other person, but if you know someone that's looking to do it. I think most of the tech help is fairly beginner, it's, I can't figure out my password, or,
Right.
having trouble, with something on their iPhone. If it's anything more complicated, then we say, make an appointment and we'll do some research and try to help. Or we have to send them to the Apple
Yeah.
store.
Right.
Did you ever get you were having trouble, was it your email? Can you finally get it?
Apple just fixed it.
They fixed it for you, that's great.
But first I took it to Verizon, don't do that,
Okay,
because did you know that there's no service in hand? So after waiting over an hour for the fellow to help me, he couldn't help me because,
No.
and he fiddled around and he kept fiddling around. I said, "What's the problem?" And he said, "I can't get service." He said, "There are no cell towers in here."
we don't have service at my house, most of the time, if it's windy or anything.
Why are you here?
Right, the Apple Store?
No, this is Verizon in hand.
Oh,
And
yeah,
they're here,
yeah,
they're
yeah,
here
yeah,
just
yeah.
to
It's
sell
always bad for
technology,
cell phone.
not to
Yeah.
Can't get
Yeah.
in.
There's
Yes.
sections of it where
Yeah.
it's just dead.
It's just
Dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, he said it, we're in a dead zone.
And realtors try to tell you it's not.
That
true.
was 2 hours late.
That's true.
If
That's
I'd
so
gone to
frustrating.
Apple in the first place, I would have been out in an hour. And now that they have Ben and Jerry's there, you don't even have to make an appointment. You just go in and they'll say, see you in a half an hour. This is March, and so you go to Ben and Jerry's. Yeah, that's the best part.
Genius, I like that. I hope my phone needs some work.
Wink, wink, nudge.
Wait, right, yeah. Okay, what else? So then we're moving on to finance. We're waiting for the passport revolving account, where Angela's still having to deal with this sort of convoluted way that we take in the money and then pay for the shipping, and it's complicated, and it'll be far better when we have one account that goes in and out. The town accountant position has been posted. I think it's probably gonna be a while before they have anyone in place, so there's just a void.
Do you know why that's been an absolute cesspool?
Yeah. That's got better.
I think it's been different reasons for each person. I know, the most recent person who left, did not have municipal finance background. She came from the private sector.
I see.
And I think it was really challenging for her to learn how,
Mhm.
public finance works. And, I think it just wasn't a great fit.
Mhm.
But I also think at the time, they didn't have a lot of applicants. So sometimes you have to, take
Take
what
what you
you,
got.
with the best that you
Yeah.
can, and hope that they can get up to speed on the job.
But you feel like we're getting the types of services that we need to get from,
From the town,
Yeah.
for us.
yeah,
Well, they do have, so the assistant town accountant, Diane, who's been there a couple of years, she came from another town. And she knows soft right,
Excuse me.
and how it all works. So as far as paying our bills and doing all of that, we have no problem.
okay, great.
It's the larger things. I actually had to reach out to Michelle Leary about getting a capital budget account set up, because we're trying to buy, last year, we went to capital budget and got, I think it's $27,000 for our, for technology, because all of the computers are gonna be obsolete in the next year. So for all the patron systems, we got the funds for that, but it's never been put into an account.
Mm.
Or an account hasn't been created for it, so, we're getting 4 literacy stations for Sharon to replace. 2 of them are more than 11 years old, and the other 2 are probably 6 years old, so we're replacing those, and they're having a 20% off sale right now, and which ends in a few weeks, so I need the account so that we can make these purchases.
Is
So
there,
Michelle, reached out to her and she was able to set up an account. And then Angela wrote the purchase order, now we're just waiting for that to be approved, and then we'll go ahead with it, so it makes it a little, it's not smooth, it's more challenging.
steps.
It's extra steps, and you're waiting, and you don't wanna, be too pushy, because they're all busy. This is a really busy time of year when you're closing out one year and starting a new year, and we appreciate all of that, but at the same time, we need to keep in business and make our purchases that are approved for us, so.
Especially if it's a discount, you don't want to.
It's almost $3,000 off, and that money we'll be able to use for the,
Other stuff.
the other things, so it's, or return to the town, either way, it's
Mm-hmm.
I live in town, so it's a win-win. But yeah, so, we're trying to work with them. And hopefully they'll get someone that knows it all, and we'll hit the ground running. In the meantime, they have Don Piat, who was the town accountant before, and who left, and I think he works about 5 hours a week for the town, helping get things going, keeping things going, so. I don't know why there's been a number of people
yeah,
in that position. And I think it does take a while to learn the town and how our finances work. So hopefully the person they do choose will fit in, and will say, so. but we're working with it. You have a good relationship with Diane.
Yeah.
And she's great.
Good,
She's been really
so-
helpful to us.
That's
In
great.
a lot of,
Very
circumstances, so. And the poor thing, she's down in the basement now.
Yeah.
Because half of the town hall is, I don't know if it's condemned, but it's unusable. But she's down in this little room, a basement room. like,
With a
can you imagine
humidifier and
What a
it's pretty
basement looks
hot.
like, little windows.
But here, we're where, in town hall?
Town hall.
It's like a gun control.
Because they don't have sprinkler
It's
systems. and stuff
Really
like that.
bad, yeah, I don't know how she's, it was so humid down there.
It
It
was
was
wet.
Cold too.
It's,
in
yeah,
there.
it's
Right.
not a good situation.
Is the town hall moving to that new building? Is that approved?
I don't think
Oh,
so,
it's not.
I don't think so. There's been a lot of things proposed, but I don't think anything has
Mm-mm.
stuck, so. Anyway, moving on, we're gonna present our budget request for the next year to the Friends. The Friends, fiscal year ends, September 30th. So their next meeting is, they don't meet in the summer, is September, I think it's the 4th or the 5th. And I'm gonna give it to them before that, and so that they can vote on it, and so that the beginning of the fiscal year, we'll be able to, we'll have our funding. We're basically asking for about the same as we did last year, although increasing some of the departmental requests, and then we're asking for some little extra money for things like giveaways. I was thinking today, it would be really nice to have like, I don't know, $25 gift card for Faisal for volunteering, you know, little, just some
Mhm.
things for people that we have, people that have been coming and shelving as volunteers for years, and we don't really do much to thank them. So, I'm hoping that the Friends will support, that. They do pay for the museum passes as well, and the movie license so that we can show movies, so. I don't know how it'll go over, but it's not a huge increase, I don't think, and so I'm planning to show our numbers for our programming numbers and our museum pass use and justify the request, so. I'll keep you posted on that. And then, you know, and I'll move on and then I'll come back to you with your
Oh, okay.
proposal, okay, with your report.
Okay.
All right, I'll just get through everything and then we can talk financial stuff.
Okay.
I've already talked about the literacy stations. I did talk to IT about starting to look into purchasing. We need the patron computers are so old. Word doesn't work on them anymore. Some of them are defaulting when you go to print to the Hanukkah, which is unplugged and not even there. And it's like, it's so frustrating, so much work. And so he said, once he gets the schools ready, he will then focus on us and get us those up and running. And then the carpeting, we've got to circle back on that. It turns out that the flooring is uneven and what they had originally thought we could use is not gonna work, so Nick is gonna get 3 or 4 different options.
So I know last time we talked about this, and I did briefly talk to Carolyn, and I know Catherine, so the building committee would love to be available.
I told
At
him
that-
this,
at
I
that
told him
meeting.
this, and he said he's gonna get samples. He said one he was talking about, so the ones that we had settled on, and I'm not sure how this is all gonna work because we went to capital budget with this proposal. So I don't know why they didn't know then that it wasn't going to work, but that's a different conversation. Those were really very heavy duty. You know, you could, indestructible. He said that they are suggesting some different ones and maybe one that might have a thicker pile, be a little bit more comfortable because kids sit on the floor. But I don't know what that's gonna mean as far as, what if they draw on it? What if there's something gets spilled? The
I
cleaning
totally
bill.
recognize that this is frustrating to you, because it's like, you were so close.
Yes,
But we
yes,
would-
but in,
The
yes,
building committee, whatever, we will make ourselves available.
absolutely.
and-
So in the past, when we did before, this was just the one, there was one, they didn't come with an array of choices. And it was really, with Megan, I was there in the room, but it wasn't really my decision.
Mhm.
They had just used it somewhere else, they highly recommended it, and we didn't pick a color or anything like that, but we decided this was the product that they wanted to use. There's really more, you know, deferring to what the facilities department recommends.
But it
Now,
was not appropriate for the use of the space, so.
well, as it turns, I don't know that it's not appropriate only because of the subflooring.
Correct.
Yeah, not
But
that it
that's-
wasn't, yeah,
So,
so anyway, that's, we're gonna we'll circle back again, and
We're
I'll
here
let
to
you know
help.
as soon as, and I appreciate it, and you know, I'm happy to have some help with what color, what was gonna look best. I know Sharon probably would like to, you know, see it as well, and that kind of thing, but I'll let you know as soon as I hear anything. And again, it's a tough time of year because they are so busy trying to get the schools up and running. We are, you know, farther down on the list, but he's working on that. So, and then the only other thing, well, two quick things. I finished the ARIS report. That is about 35 or 40 page report of statistics. So once, after the meeting's over, next few weeks, I'm gonna put it all in a nice, graphic form. So we can see what, it's all about how many, the holdings we have. It's got salaries and number of staff members, and then it's circulation of all the different materials. It asks about services, about programming, and then they have other questions about, have you had, challenges to books or programs and that kind of thing. So it's a very, very detailed, comprehensive report of the library.
How is that ultimately used and by whom?
That is through the state. Some of it is just, if you go on the MBLC website, you can see statistics. So if you wanted to see, you know, what's the circulation of audiobooks in Hingham, or what are the
Okay.
salaries of the people that work in Hingham? And then there's also the second report, which I have to do, I don't think that's due till October, is for state aid, which determines how much of the state aid we're gonna get. And I think I just got a message today that they
increased it 13%.
they increased it more than what they had asked for, and that's signed, so it's a done deal. So we should be getting at least as much as we got last year, if not more, so. And then the only other thing is the pavilion. Carolyn's not here, or Catherine, so I will just tell you that it did go before Conservation Commission. It did get approved, the stormwater permit, which was the holdup at this point. And now, hopefully, within the next week to 10 days, it's going to go out to bid, incorporating what needs to be done for the stormwater.
Great.
So it sounded like, from what the messages I was seeing from the Conservation Commission, originally they thought it was just, the permit was just gonna be sort of a bookkeeping item. It wasn't gonna actually be anything that had to be done, but then once they looked at it, it turns out there is some work that has to be done. So that probably means the project's gonna be more expensive. Which is not surprising, but I will let you know more about that. Hopefully we'll all get to see the bid.
And also the whole, that note, I think I read to the effect of that we are gonna be responsible if any of the trees die or whatever.
That's what Megan said. So as it turned out,
The existing trees or trees that are planted?
it sounded like, and I could I'm happy to circle back with Megan. It sounded like, so they were gonna move some of the trees that are existing right now
Because,
because I think the sidewalk has to be moved. That's my
oh, for the
understanding.
storm. drain.
So, no, in the plans, they were going to try to salvage the trees that were here and move them further out so that the sidewalk could be moved, so there's more space. That's my understanding of it, at least. I don't know, you can't really see on those designs. What they're saying is that if they move a tree and it doesn't survive, then
They
you
have
have to
yeah,
purchase
yeah.
more trees.
Are they locking you into buying a mature tree?
I think,
Like, can you
I
buy
think we
it?
can buy whatever we want because it's our project.
Right, okay.
That's my understanding, but I think,
But the town wants trees.
there definitely needs
Yeah,
to be
yeah.
some, there's supposed to be a buffer.
But if you buy a younger tree.
It's a big difference, the price
Yeah.
wise, for sure, but, so then what I was gonna have Angela talk about, because it's her baby, she decided we talked about it, we decided to consolidate some reports. It seems like there's too much paperwork, and, so she came up with what she thinks, hopefully everyone, understands and will like, which is a one-page summary of the
Thank
money
you.
we brought in for the month and the money that we had to spend. Mostly it's money, I guess, money that we finished, right?
It is. So these are basically the
Two different
deposits.
pages.
So what was happening was we had all those reports that you probably saw in there that was just basically the deposits into the gift account, the treasurer, and the patron printer. We will have a fourth account, which will be passports. The accounting report, which we used to do, was actually a written explanation of what the passports, what we were bringing in. And then just a written way of giving out this information also. So instead of like, having this information in duplicate and triplicate, I figure we could just have one report. And so you'll see, so the first page is the July warrant. So in blue is the money that was brought in for that warrant, that month that we had. The green is gonna be year to date, because what you're gonna wanna see is that number increase to see, okay, what did we bring in July, August, September, all together.
Mhm.
So if you look, in August, so this warrant, you'll see the additional, deposits that were made. So 2 more deposits into the gift account, deposits number 2 and deposits number 3. And then here under source, I just, have a drop down box explaining what those deposits were. The passports processed here, and revenue from passports, that's also gonna be eventually in its own account, so that'll just be a fourth section. I'll have an account number for that hopefully soon, as soon as Diane gets that up and running. But it'll be the same information, how many more passports did we do between, that deposit and the next deposit? So you'll see that those kind of add up. So if you look at July's warrant, we did 2 passports. If you look at August, we did 14. And so you have your number of passports processed total is 16. So all of those numbers then add up to the year to dates, which is the green. And the blue will just be the information, the new information for that
Of
month.
that particular month.
Yeah. So it's simplified.
I think
Right,
we can
so
understand.
Now we.
Okay. I just figure it might
It's
be
just not a
easier.
whole list of
So we
figures.
can actually remove 4 other reports now. So this is 4 reports in this one report.
Yeah.
So
So you'll have all 12 months accumulated.
it'll accumulate. So like,
You'll have enough, right?
September, yeah, we'll have, well, the thing is
Get
that
the
I'm
stuff.
only putting the deposits that happened that month.
Right, so we only get the one.
So you'd have to,
One
you'd have to go through each month of warrant to see the blue for what happens in that month.
Okay.
But the green is gonna give you
Okay.
the entire picture. So as you can see, which we thought was really cool, just in 6 weeks or so, we made over $500 from doing passports.
Yeah.
That is
That's-
impressively amazing. So great job, Robin, for having that brought in, because that's a huge money maker. So that's fantastic.
And are people coming from outside of town for that?
Some,
Both. Definitely people in town, but also out of town.
yeah,
Nice.
some hang
Because
people
your
I
option
tell
is-
everyone I know about.
Yeah. Well, the
Your
option is going to
advertising.
the Hingham Post
Post
Office
office,
and waiting in
yeah.
line, and it's
Yeah.
really not, if you have, a lot of the people that come have
Little
children,
kids.
yeah, and so we have them in here. Sharon has a whole box of books that they can look at and keep them busy, and it's just, it's really, it's a nicer way to do it than going.
Angela, these will all be on Google Drive too.
Everything will be in the drive, so,
It was on, this was sent
it
to
was in
us,
there, yeah.
Yeah.
So do you have any suggestions or comments or anything that you
Really?
like?
I move we accept the new program.
Okay.
I second.
Yeah, right. Oh, that's great. I think,
Yeah,
yeah, it's
right.
simplify, it's too many documents to look at, and
Yeah,
you're all busy, you don't have time to look at it.
That's right.
More than you need to.
Right,
Now they make sense.
yeah, so it'll just, it's, basically as simple as we could, where it's just this month and then year to date. And then call it a day, because I think that's basically what we wanna know.
Yeah.
That's right, you can always go back and look, if you wanted
Right.
to see, compare, this July to last July. You can
Yes.
just do that
Yeah.
by going back, everything's stays on drive is
Great.
in perpetuity, so.
Do I need to do all in favor, or are we? Is that so?
You can't, I don't know that it's anything that needs to get voted on, but it can be if you
No,
want.
I don't want.
It
looks great.
And then just,
Here's to parsimony.
and then the bills, is there anything in the bills that you wanted to talk about?
Nothing particularly, I mean, this was the beginning of the fiscal year, so as you can imagine, I'm sure you noticed it was a pretty big warrant. Because everybody had been waiting to purchase supplies or certain things, so.
Yeah.
We hit the ground running, so to speak, but it's all stuff that will last us, so,
Yeah, I did see that speaker that I was questioning,
Yeah.
but then Sharon mentioned it.
Yeah, so that speaker that she had, it's like a tower speaker, it's been limping along for a while. and
The
we've
mic
been
didn't
waiting-
work on it.
We've been waiting till the
Yeah.
new fiscal year, like if the mic doesn't charge, it's like got an A and B side, one side didn't work all the time, so. It was really something we needed, and we had to wait till we had, new funds for in technology, but I think it's gonna be good, so.
I'm not very knowledgeable about our accounting, so this may be not an appropriate question. But what happens when you know that in a particular month, there's gonna be a big bill? When you see it this way, how do you know that that's expected? How do you sort of track how well we're doing, knowing that we're gonna have a big bill in November?
Well,
And which-
these are just
These are-
revenue, this is only
Okay.
revenue.
Oh, okay.
This is money we made.
Yeah, this is
Ah.
all
These
money.
are the bills.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
it's-
Are in the.
Obviously not a knowledgeable
Okay.
question.
Yeah.
That will be the same.
That
But
was
it can't
good.
be,
Yeah, those
you know,
will stay the
show
same, though.
their knowledge.
Oh, you know what, we need the signed thing.
Yes,
So you have it right now. Yeah, so that will stay the same, so you'll still be able to track how much we've spent for the year.
And what's left.
Yeah,
good.
yeah, that will-
You guys can
that's what I'm
sign
saying,
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Had to give you
a
a
lot of
break.
good information.
You know, I like grief. Grief is,
Yeah.
Grief is good.
grief is good.
Here,
Uh,
so this is the towns. First.
I have come to really like
So it's just, you can remove that, I just
Which
put
store?
everything together.
That's it, all of this.
a bike. with a
So
friend.
those are, that's
Forgot to
everything
bring
we
it to your
purchased, so that has
So we could go to
everything
one
in
of
it.
his
This is what I
friends.
send around.
That's
The
that's
time
an
fees
individual.
goes to the town,
It
right?
was so much more fun to make that.
It's
distinction
that.
about that
Yeah, I
person.
don't, which.
So I'm trying
It's
to make
frustrating
a couple
because
mistakes.
somebody's lost a book, we have to buy it again.
Yeah.
So we're charging a person $35 and then it just goes to the, it's a deposit.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure why it's that way, but, yes, for now it is at least.
It's 2 months, $150.
Oh, and we,
Right.
do a motion.
Yeah, we do have to
Yes,
have
that is, good. The newsletter is just came in.
Oh,
Everybody wants to.
did that come in the mail today?
Oh, I see it was in the mail today.
Nice and
So
bright.
we haven't mailed, we'll mail it out next week.
Oh, it didn't come today.
The boxes came, they did.
Oh,
from the
okay.
printer. We didn't get us to print it
Yeah.
out.
So there's enough.
We gotta read, I think we
You
got
have to do
397.
everything online.
I'm
and then print it out.
I was
Party
reading
and-
that.
It's like,
This is great. Fall.
This is
I
fantastic.
love the word fall.
Because we have a link now, Jen.
Very
I have a
clever.
page For people that are just like adults that need to do renewals, and you can click on it, and it should take you.
Are we
there.
passing that around to sign?
Yeah, I think we have to move the bills out. I move that we pay the bills this month.
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Hey,
There we go.
I forget, did these go to everybody in town or just people with?
Everybody.
Everybody needs to.
It smells like it just came off the print.
It
Yeah,
literally
it
smells
does.
the box
Thanks.
about.
It does.
They
smell
so
good.
Book person.
I know.
So these smells
like
good. Can tell the local libraries, all of us pick these up and
This is
Should we move
also.
forward? There's not actually much
Yeah.
else to say. Catherine asked if I could do this, but I didn't get any information from her.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
cause I don't think the Friends met.
The Friends,
right? There was a trust meeting last night, but we weren't able to go. I wasn't able to go and she's not in town, so, so I have to find out for the next month, what happened at that. And then the chair report. She said hello and she's sorry that she can't be here. That's the report.
Nice wrap up.
All right.
Here's another, are we general other comments?
Yeah, that's miscellaneous.
What resources are there to help people use podcasts?
We talked about
We
this
talked about
last
last
Oh,
year.
sorry.
It's interesting because Alex brought it up and it's something that I go on Apple and I say, oh my God, I don't even know where to begin. And, but I've been slowly kind of
Yeah,
searching for certain topics.
So Alex brought
You
it
just
up and
Jen was
Jen
here.
was here
yeah.
and
Oh,
she
okay.
said, oh, that's kind of really interesting. Maybe she could start curating.
well, that would be,
Something.
that would be great,
Yeah, it's a
Like if
little
you
bit,
like X, then you might like.
yeah,
exactly.
it's challenging because
I
there's.
think they do it
so
online.
many out
They
there.
do it for you,
But-
on my podcast, they
Yeah.
always throw
I
something
look-
out.
Where
Yeah,
to start, you know,
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's.
And
it's
if you
very
like
daunting.
this, yeah.
Yeah,
And it's so hard to find. I was very interested in the new lawsuit against Google and what it's gonna do for technology. Based on the Microsoft lawsuit that was very successful in '96. And by chance, I found it was fabulous and but I just lucked into it. And you couldn't search for that. Or I
Yeah,
wasn't easy, anyhow, so that's good that you talked about
Yeah.
it. Sorry, I missed.
I think there's a way, I mean, do you use Spotify?
Yeah,
Sometimes I just put in like words to see what comes up, the things I'm interested in. And
In
then that's how I-
Spotify.
In Spotify, yeah,
Oh, really?
uh-huh. So,
they do have some categories. I have to pull off the side
I
of
just,
the road.
oh,
That's-
yeah.
well, that's good news.
Yeah.
Feel safer.
yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, she's gonna look into it and see what she can.
Right.
She may just, I mean, again,
Maybe
she
there's
couldn't
nothing-
possibly
yeah,
listen to
yeah.
everything. So she's a little hesitant to recommend something that, you know, may have misinformation or be inappropriate.
Just the idea of what resources exist
Yeah, okay, yeah.
to find
Right.
things that are appropriate.
Okay, yes, I know that that was discussed and she was pretty intrigued by the idea, so
Cool.
great minds.
And lesser.
I don't have anything else. Anything else?
Meeting
Motion
adjourned?
to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn,
Second?
Yay.
all in favor?
Aye.
Very good.
Nice job, Brooke.
Yeah.
Someday I'll